Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Democracy 3 Africa. My name, of course, is Orbital. This is Botswana. Things are good. Now, a little story about what happened on yesterday's episode. So, for some strange reason that I couldn't work out, the game just coincidentally crashed when I clicked the next turn button. Now, what I had to do to get back to this situation is I had to watch the video that I recorded yesterday, and I literally did all of the stuff that I did in yesterday's video before I started recording this video, and then I saved it, and now I have loaded up this save. Fingers crossed nothing wrong is going to happen when we click this next button. I'm honestly hoping that it'll all be fine. Indeed it is. It's all fine. Now, this has created a little bit of a... Well, it's basically the exact same save file, or the exact same scenario that we were in yesterday. A couple of things might be slightly different. The numbers might be out by, like, you know, a couple of million. But honestly, I'm pretty confident that this is a fairly accurate representation of what we recorded yesterday. And now we are going beyond that, which is lovely indeed. So, uncompetitive economy ended last turn. Brain drain, still not low enough. We would need to lower income tax by a fair bit, I would think. Do we have that 2 billion to spare, though? We could try lowering it by 2 billion. Taking it from 24.3 to 22.3. I think that might actually be a pretty good idea. Let's give it a shot. You know, it's only 7 political capital that we're actually investing in that. The petrol protests are going to be ending because we completely got rid of the petrol tax, which is a really good decision, actually, I think. Like, a very, very good decision. A good idea. We don't really care too much about this mass urbanization nonsense. I mean, it literally doesn't matter at all. It's not a big deal for us. Malaria is still going on. HIV/AIDS is going to be ending soon. Now, I'm not sure if this actually ended in the last episode, but it's going to be ending soon. So it's basically going to have, you know, very, very little difference from the episode that we recorded yesterday. Sweet, awesome. That is good. That is awesome. That is fantastic. That is great. And now we can think about how we want to please the socialists. Socialists do not like the stock exchange, but unfortunately, I don't think it's something that we can really get rid of. I mean, I guess it's fine that we've got this stock exchange, because it's tied to stability and technology. I mean, the only way to get rid of the stock exchange would be to get rid of our stability, I guess, but I don't think we really want to do that. Oh, by the way, this leader dying suddenly, that was like one of the random events, because the events that you get are random, and we just had a random event that made our leader die. Basically did nothing. Like, nothing has changed. What I am really worried about, though, is our debt. Like, this is going to be a major issue for us, and I don't know how we're gonna get it to come down. Our interest rate did also go up, which is not exactly great news, to be honest, but you know, hey-ho. Maybe we could start to think about cutting back some of the more capitalist-friendly policies. You know, for example, this policy. We did introduce it, and see, this is the thing, right? It's always good to introduce new policies if you can make progress. But when you want to, you know, like, tailor your country, when you want to tweak it and make it, you know, very specifically for socialists or whatever, then, you know, you've got to get rid of some of those policies that you ended up introducing. So I'm not entirely sure that this is a bad policy at all. Like, it's a really, really good policy, and it is, you know, it is really, really increasing GDP, but it's also decreasing the numbers of socialists. Membership of socialism is quite consistent, which is kind of nice. Oh, that's capitalists. Excuse me. Socialist membership, it is trending downwards a little bit, I think. It looks like it. Looks like we need to try and strip out some of these. Yeah, it looks like we need to try and strip out some of these negative influences. Yeah, I think that is the best thing to do. I mean, something that we could change is labor laws. that would be something that we could change rather easily. And it would increase membership of socialism, and it would get rid of this negative modifier as well. So I think we might actually save and raise the labor law to pro-union. We'll see. We'll see. There's also a couple of other policies that may help us out. For example, there is one about trade unions here. Government subsidies for unions, for example. I've never really played around with this, but I would love to implement it. A cap CEO pay multiplier, which is also another really interesting policy. Labor Day bank holiday. Yeah, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. There we go. A nice little bump to socialism at the cost of our GDP. Not too bad. I think we can just about justify doing that. You know, considering that we're going to get a whole bunch of GDP from brain drain when this eventually expires. I think it's worth sacrificing a little bit of GDP for socialists. And we really do need to just get rid of a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, we'll start with labor laws, and we'll progress down, and we'll try and just get rid of all of these red lines here, because we want all of this to be green. We want to try and make as many socialists in this country as possible. That's the plan anyway. Banning animal testing. Yeah, I honestly, it doesn't matter. Everybody's pretty much happy with us at this moment in time. We've got 98.55% of the population would vote for us tomorrow. If they could, well, they'll get the opportunity to do so in around about 8 turns. So not too shabby at all. Let's go to the next turn and see what else we've got in store. Just checking quickly. Yep, that's fine. We can go to the next turn, and we'll still have more than enough political capital to play around with, which is lovely. Beautiful. Nobel Prize. I love it. GDP going up, Patriots, Liberals, and membership of Patriots going up. GDP is actually really decent since we got rid of this petrol protests. And also, credit rating upgraded. That is like the perfect storm. And suddenly, oh my goodness, we are completely above board in all of our categories. That is astoundingly amazing. That is really good news. Capitalists are super fucking happy with us. We don't even want to please capitalists. Like, how? How are capitalists so happy with us? Is it because our GDP is just so damn high? Capitalists really like the economy type as well, don't they? They really do. Whatever the heck that is. HIV/AIDS. When is this ending? Next turn. Next turn this is ending. This is very good news indeed. And this is actually going to free up a little bit of money, because the State Health Service will not have to pay 20% extra, which is really quite a big deal, considering at the moment we... There we go. Considering at the moment we pay 3 billion. So if we consider that as 120%, basically divide by, I don't know, divide by 120 times by 100, I guess, or divide by 12 times by 10, whatever you want. You know, basically we could be saving, you know, a good couple of million there. So just a little thing, but it's probably worth bearing in mind. Okay, brain drain. How did that sort itself out? Okay, so we need to actually lower income tax a little bit further. I think an extra 2 billion might actually do it. Let's try an extra 2 billion. Let's try taking it down to maybe an extra 3 billion. We'll go for 2.5 billion. Alright, so we're lowering income tax by, or we're lowering our income from income tax by 2.5 billion. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed it's going to end this brain drain, and therefore we will boost GDP by that 17% that we really want. Why is this going down? Like, I don't understand why this is going down. Is our infrastructure getting bigger? Is that why it's going down? Yeah, okay. So our infrastructure is increasing, and then our mass urbanization is going down. Apparently. I don't know how that really works, but desertification, slowly but surely coming down. Because our infrastructure is going up. I don't even know what I'm doing to change the infrastructure, but apparently I'm doing something almost correctly. Yes, let's do what we said we were going to do. And this is actually the prime time to do it, because let's face it, the capitalists are actually, you know, they're maxed out in their happiness. And they're only going to continue to get happier with the reduction of income tax. So let's take this opportunity and change up labor laws, and let's change them so radically and so completely that it'll probably have a fairly big impact, actually. I don't quite know what is going to happen, but you know, certainly a lot of stuff is going to be changing around here. A heck of a lot of stuff. This is going to take 2 turns to implement. Yeah, 2 turns to implement. That's not too bad. It's absolutely fine. And I would imagine that the cabinet is going to become kind of a little bit annoyed. Oh, the capitalist, you don't like me, buddy. You do not like me. You, however, do like me. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that everybody kind of likes us. Yeah, everybody kind of likes us, which is nice. It's just reassuring. In regards to this surplus, I really want to maintain this surplus because, as I've talked about a little bit in the past, if the global economy is doing shit, that is good. That is an opportunity for us because if we have a surplus right now, which, you know, let me tell you, we absolutely do, if our interest rate is going down, which means that we're going to be paying less interest on our debt, you know, that is a huge opportunity for us to get out of the mountains of crippling debt that we're currently situated under. So we've got a real opportunity with the global economy growing, with our own GDP growing, to make bank. You know, we can really make a heck of a lot of money if we play our cards right here. So fingers crossed, things are going to improve, and things are going to improve fairly massively. How is tourism doing? Tourism is actually maxing out, and that's increasing GDP by 12%. That is really awesome to see. Even though the global economy is piss poor, tourism is so unbelievably high. That is what we like to see. Alright, let's go to the next turn. Hey, poverty eradicated. Nobody cheers as loud for you as those people you have raised out of poverty in your triumphant mission to rid the curse of poverty from our country. Well done. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And poverty actually going up at the end of the turn there, but I imagine it was something to do with, I don't actually know what it was something to do with. Probably something to do with poor earnings or something. Internet crime is developed. Little bit of an annoyance. Reduction of GDP by 3.8%. Not super thrilled about that, and people dislike us. It seems that we need to implement some sort of way of combating that. Health getting bumped up because HIV has ended. Fantastic news. That is really good. And we've got a real estate bubble, which is not so great, actually. Thanks to GDP being so darned high. This is going to hurt a little bit, actually. Unfortunately, this was triggered. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But we've got a couple of methods that we can do to get that under control. One, of course, being, well, the one, and the one that I'm thinking of deploying is state housing, you know, because that's something that we need to introduce, and this is going to give us a reason to introduce it. Unemployment going back to basically 0, and our GDP falling just a smidgen. Well, I say just a smidgen, quite a lot. But fingers crossed we're going to be able to get that back into the growth territory very soon indeed. Okay, so 2 solid turns of income tax reductions have not led to us being able to end this brain drain. We need to take it down by another 2.5 billion. Our margins are so tight right now. They really are. Like, we can't afford... Well, we can afford a little bit now, but each and every turn that I reduce income tax, it's a turn less... It's a lot less money for us. And, you know, if we're going to be trying to invest in our intelligence services, we're going to need a little bit of money. You know, we're going to need a little bit of money to spend here. So, it's just a little bit annoying. It is just a little bit annoying. Internet crime, I don't think we can solve that with the conventional police force. No, I don't think we can. Is there any other policies that look like they will tackle internet crime? I bet internet censorship probably does it, but I don't think that's really the route that we want to be going down. Wiretapping, again, very expensive policy. Internet censorship, coincidentally, is also a very expensive policy. An anti-corruption agency. Oh. Agriculture, land tenure. This may deal with, yeah, this is going to reduce urbanism. Okay, this is actually really good. And it basically costs us nothing. And it's going to boost up our infrastructure. So this should help end mass urbanization, which is going to increase rural income, basically. This is not an issue for us, but it's a red bubble, and if we can clear a red bubble off the map, then that is good in my books. Now, how much is it going to cost for us to implement the state housing policy? It's going to cost us up to 3 billion, that's fine, and 13 political capital. Okay, I think that this is actually the correct course of action. This is going to absolutely slaughter private housing. It's going to increase socialism, and it's going to make capitalists a little bit annoyed with us. However, I think that this is absolutely the correct course of action. Surprisingly, we haven't managed to quite get to that level of an egalitarian society. Usually you get a green bubble if your equality is super, super high, but it's just not, actually. It's just not at this moment in time, so that is a real shame. Anyway, we've introduced private housing. We want to probably try and increase state pensions as well. This is something else that we're going to have to try and move towards. It's going to be super expensive, so, you know, we're not in any rush to really do that, but we want to make it so that, you know, everybody's looked after by the state. That is sort of the goal, I suppose, of socialism. Now, capitalists... yeah, they're not a fan of a whole lot of stuff. But, you know, I'm super glad that they've introduced these new things like the residential credit facilities, which just give a nice boost to capitalists. You know, same with the stock exchange. A nice little boost to capitalists. And even though it is just a straight, you know, make socialists unhappy policy, I think overall, this is a really, really, really strong policy. I think it's really great that we're getting, you know, a substantial amount of diversity in these policies. So I'm super excited for some more green bubbles. That is absolutely badass. That is really, really good. And brain drain, yeah, fingers crossed, should be ending very, very soon indeed. I don't know how long it's going to take for the housing real estate bubble to disappear. I would suspect not that long. But we'll have to wait and see as to how long that it actually takes. Let's do one more turn. Oh, let's relax the planning law. Let's relax the planning law because there's a housing shortage. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. One more turn. GDP back up to decent levels, increasing just a smidgen, which is nice to see. Health is maxing out, which is awesome. And a water shortage is not so great. The environment, yeah, going down quite substantially. And I don't really know why. But fingers crossed that water shortage sorts itself out. Sorts itself out. We're actually running a deficit right now. That is not great. I didn't want to run a deficit this turn, but, you know, next turn guaranteed we'll be back up into surplus land. Brain drain. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? Like, how much do we need to reduce this by? Like, 500 million? 1 billion, maybe? 1 billion. Alright. I'm reducing it by 1 billion. This should mean that we finally get rid of brain drain. It's going to put us a little bit in the hole, but honestly, I think that it'll be fine. I'm not too worried by it. This mass urbanization, woohoo! Relaxing the planning law is really going to get down mass urbanization. Also increasing our infrastructure thanks to the agricultural land tenure. Very, very, very nice to see. Okay, let's introduce some policies that are going to upset the capitalists. Let's do it. Economy. Government subsidies for unions. There we go. Capitalists are going to get very, very unhappy about this, but that's okay. It's only 11%. That's not too bad. Trade unionists really, really going to like this. Wages are going to be increasing. Trade unionist income is going to be going up, and membership of socialism is going to be going up as well. And membership of socialism is really the one that we want to push for. Let's face it, it really, really is. So we're going to try and push for it, as you may have guessed. Small business grants. This needs to be cancelled, and we're probably going to be doing that in the next episode. How is this real estate bubble being solved? Yeah, it's going to take a little while for deployment of this. Yeah, 16 turns implementation. That's fine. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very, very much for watching. Hopefully you'll tune in tomorrow for some more Democracy Africa as Botswana. Until next time, folks. Bye.